Hello. So I'm going to share this while we have just a moment because it's going to take a few moments for people to get on here. Paste. Post. Okay. So maybe I need to edit. All right. Hello, everybody. So this YouTube has a new live thing, and it means that I'm pretty sure my webcam is mirrored. So yeah, so if things are backwards, I apologize. You can see the mess. Whoops, yeah, it's mirrored. You can see the mess down there. There's the keyboard. I'm in the middle of still kind of cleaning some of this space. But I thought instead of trying to film, let me go into my webcam settings and see if I can mirror it. That can do the other way. Sorry about typing, keyboard acting funny. That's okay. So is mine. Let's see. Let's get webcam controller. Advanced settings. Mirrored. Nope, it's not going to let me do it. Oh well. Talk on it. Oh well. I tried. I don't like it this way. I may the next time just do the Google Hangouts because at least there I can mirror it. Yeah. It's actually pretty cool though because there isn't a lag. So when I don't have a window open for Google Hangouts and a window open in a YouTube with YouTube muted, so when I'm watching myself talk and I'm looking at the chat, it is actually what is going on right this minute right now. So thank you for joining me. For those of you who are here, who are joining me, I'm really excited about doing a live coffee chat on a Monday. Mr. Rockstar sleeping. Just want to have the door shut. One of the things I wanted to talk about for today's live chat, for today's coffee chat, what my goal to talk about today was how sometimes social media seems to got the notification just now. Yay! I'm glad that the notifications. I'm hoping that was a YouTube notification. And I'm hoping that it works. I did share this. I need to share this one other place. So there we go. And I guess I need to share it to Twitter, y'all. So give me just 1 second because this doesn't share it the way that you normally do. Okay, let's just find Twitter because my app is not working. Twitter. Of course, there's always like the hiccups in the very beginning. Always a hiccup in the very beginning. Monday's coffee chat today is live. We're going to paste the link. And there we go. And I've got all kinds of notifications that I actually need to check out. Yeah. So, and a message. Oh my goodness. Okay. So I'm going to leave Twitter open and go back to Twitter when I'm done with this. How are y'all doing today? I hope that y'all are doing well. I think sometimes I've been doing quite a bit of research lately on how to grow my brand, how to grow as a person on social media, because I'm not all that familiar with all of the social media things. So I'm still learning a lot of that. And what I've found is that the more that I learn, the more that I realize I don't know. So y'all are seeing stuff backwards, which I don't like because I share things, and this says fill your cup. So I guess what I'll do ahead of time is go in my settings, in my advanced settings on my webcam, and actually hit the mirror thing so that I don't normally if I hit mirror, it shows backwards. But with this, I'm going to need to hit mirror ahead of time. But anyway, so one of the things I've been doing is figuring out how to, good, it's not, so it's just backwards for me. Good, thank you, Dorothy. Thank you for letting me know that. So if what you're seeing, does it say fill your cup, or are you seeing it like you would be looking at it in a mirror? So, when I started the research for how to grow my YouTube channel, how to grow Patreon, my Patreon's page, how to grow my brand itself, how to improve YouTube, how to improve my content as a creator. One of the things that I kept seeing was authenticity. See all this stuff about authenticity. But here are some of the things that people who are authentic actually don't do. They don't start their videos off by pitching. So, and I've watched quite a few videos lately, and that's exactly what people have done. And these are people who are bigger on YouTube, and people who are on Patreon that are also on YouTube, and they start out in the very beginning with, hey, if you want to see more content, check me out on Patreon, or check out my website, or check out my this or that or the other. And I'm thinking, well, if that's the case now, and this is what I found in my research about how to truly be authentic. Because people want connections. They want to feel like they're connected to people, to real people, not to being spammed, and not to feeling like their time isn't valuable. One of the other things it says about what people who are authentic don't do is they don't do crossover posts in different groups. Thank you, Dorothy. They don't do crossover posts in different groups on Facebook and things like that. Well, if you belong to the Traveler's Notebook Facebook group, we'll say any of them, because there's more than one group for like a lot of this. If you belong to Hobonichi, if I do a video that's about my Hobonichi in a Traveler's Notebook, then wouldn't it go in the Hobonichi group, in the Traveler's Notebook group? So I guess it really just depends. I mean, I hate spamming. I hate feeling like I'm desperate too. And sometimes if you are marketing yourself, which is why I tend to do that at the end. If I'm going to do it, if somebody's watched me all the way through, then that means they're really interested in my content. And that's why sometimes at the end, you see a picture now that says thank you to my patrons, because they make a lot of the stuff possible for me to try new things, for me to experiment with things. Thank you, Dorothy. I'm so glad. Um, and one of the other things it said, number 3, was don't do automated messages, like especially DMs, direct messages, personal messages. It said don't do that because it's not personal. So a lot of this stuff I do and don't do, but I don't do it in a way that what they were talking about, like with being really spammy. One of the other things they said was consistency. Now, I sometimes overwhelm myself with things to do, and I don't get everything done on time. I always get it done for the most part. Every now and again, I it takes me really long, but most of the time, I always get it done. And my eyebrow over here looks so much thinner and lighter because that eyebrow has a lot of gray in it. And I notice on the webcam that yeah, I look like I have different sized eyebrows. Um, to do what you say that you're going to do. So I've been doing, for the most part, I'm still working on the postcards, y'all. Still working on the postcards. They were supposed to go out in February. Now it's almost to the end of March, and I'm still working on them. But I don't want some people to get them and then other people go, well, God, I didn't get one. So I figured, you know what? I'm just going to mail them all at one time. And that way everybody gets them. Maybe, I mean, depending on where you live, it might take just a little bit longer. But if I say I've sent them, then that means I've sent them to everybody. And I'm still working on them. I didn't realize they were going to take so much time. The other thing is don't hate your haters. Don't try to shame them. One of the other things was don't complain. And I feel like that video that I made just recently where I talked about some of this, I think I might have sounded a bit complainy and maybe a bit whiny. I posted a comment on a comment. I replied to a comment about just this thing, and it made me think about this whole issue of authenticity with social media and things. I am not complaining. I am happy to grow organically on YouTube and on Patreon and on Instagram and wherever else. I'm not a big Twitter person, which is why I have 34 notifications that I haven't checked because I haven't checked Twitter in a week. Yeah, since last Tuesday when I missed the Right Stuff tweet chat and I went through and read it afterwards. But I realized when I did that video that maybe it might have sounded sort of whiny or complaining about feeling, like it used to really bother me when people would do a thumbs down or when people would make a negative comment. And which is why I didn't talk, like I said, and I said specifically, I wasn't really going to talk about trolls because it's different. But the more that I've grown as a person, not subscriber based, but the more I've grown as a person, the more I've realized that, like I've said, not everybody's cup of tea, cup of coffee, glass of wine, glass of water. Everybody is not, I've known this since I was a child. Not everybody's going to like everybody else. What I like is not always the same. Like I like a bunch of different content because it really depends on what I'm doing, what I'm researching, what I like, what mood I'm in, as to what I want to watch, TV shows, YouTube videos, movies. It really depends. Do I feel like I need to escape? And I need maybe a bit of mind candy to kind of relax and, just get away from, so then maybe I'll watch one of my favorite sci-fi movies or something, or I'll read a book, a fiction book. If I'm in learn mode, what I watch is going to be quite different because I'm in learn mode than what I want to watch when I'm feeling like I need to kind of just take a step away and relax my brain. So I might not be everybody's cup of tea. And when looking at analytics for YouTube and how to grow and things like that, I finally figured out how to look at some of the analytics on YouTube, and my follower base is from the range of about early 30s to on up to 60s, 70s. The bigger the age group that's the most watched for me has been maybe 40s and 50s, which makes sense to me because I am now 50. I've never heard you be whiny. Everyone had things that bothered them. You're real. Explain your feelings. Thank you. Thank you, Susan. But I realized something that, and I said it, I've been better about it because I have felt um, a bit like, geez, goodness, 5 minutes after a video has been up, there's a thumbs down. And then you take that internally. It's hard sometimes not to take those things personal, but I realized, thanks to quite a few of y'all, that those are probably trolls. Um, and then I had to look at it completely different. How I look at things has to change depending on the dynamics of what it is. And that made sense to me because some of this is new to me. One of the other things, you have to think about is that if you actually have some haters, if you actually have some trolls, then that actually means that you've defined yourself, and you've chosen, a more specific audience, and that there are others who aren't part of that audience, that you've sort of kind of made it. Not that I feel like that. Really, I feel like I've worked really hard to get to where I'm at. And I'm proud of myself for that. And on the days when after 5 minutes, a video's been up and there's a thumbs down, I just give myself a pat on the back. And I go, there you go. And that's the only time when I actually think to myself, okay, I've made it, because there's some troll out there who automatically feels the need to give my video a thumbs down. And I find it actually refreshing to find other YouTubers who are smaller on the smaller scale, because I also find that when you're first starting out on YouTube, because it's new, that people are usually much more authentic. So one of the other things I wanted to talk about is how sometimes consuming a lot of content can actually hamper your own creativity, because we get in that where we want to mimic or copy, or even emulate others and their art or their writing style or their video style or whatever, and we want to mimic or emulate rather than find our own way, find our own style, find our own voice. And the more content sometimes that I watch for, sometimes I find myself thinking, God, I wonder if I did it more the way that they're doing it, then I'd get more followers, or I'd have more subscribers, or I'd pick up some speed, have bigger views. Maybe I need to do something different. Maybe that's the problem. But the more that I think about that, when I'm not feeling overwhelmed because I lost 5 subscribers in one day because of maybe the content of a video. And that happened last week. And then I thought, you know what? See, I'm not changing. I'm not changing because of others. I can change because I change, because I grow, and because I learn, and because I evolve and I grow. So being authentic to me means that you do not, excuse me, allergies, God, y'all. You do not only, you think about your audience and what your audience wants, but you also think about what's true to you. And so that's what I was looking at, was what people who, how to be authentic on social media and still engage your audience. Because we all want connections. And as a creative person, whether it's with writing or art or any of those things, we often find ourselves Okay, that's removed. We often find ourselves feeling overwhelmed by all the choices that are out there, or we oftentimes feel overwhelmed by what we're doing. And I have to sometimes slow down a bit and think, okay, I'm sorry, y'all. If y'all are reading the chat, um, I'm pretty sure that that was not an honest question. I hate when that happens, but that's okay. Hello, Amby. If you are at a place where you're not sure if you're doing too much of emulating others or mimicking, um, you're not alone, because there are times when I consume quite a bit of content, and then I start doing a page in my journal, and I realize that I'm doing something that is more somebody else's style than my own. Um, if you are like, I like using collage bits from other people. I like learning, and I will emulate what somebody else is doing to learn something different, to try it, which is, there's a difference between learning things and trying things, and constantly using other people's style or voice or what they're doing to do your own stuff, because it's not really your own. It's more mimicry. And finding your balance between emulating and learning to do things and then doing your own thing, sometimes that's a very hard rule, hard line, hard place. It's hard to find your boundary. Hello, Leanne. It's hard to find your boundary between emulating to learn, and then, or emulating to have a bit of fun and to try something different, and not having your own thing. You know, I found myself sometimes being in that place where I'm doing emulating so much to learn that I have sort of not really had my own style right there on the page too, you know. But you have to learn. I still don't have like a specific thing like where I feel I know I have a style. I was looking back at some of my old videos because am I ready for camp? No, not not really. No, I wish I were, but I'm not. Um, hopefully soon. I'm going to be working. My mom's birthday is this weekend, so I know I'm not going to get a whole lot done over the weekend, not Friday and Saturday. Um, but this week, I'm going to finish up some of the outline, and I'm hoping to get what little bit I need to get done over this week, and then hopefully that will put me being ready for camp now, Ramo. Um, you know, whether you're thinking about what you're drawing or what you're writing, because we see things and we go, oh, I want to try that, and we try it, and sometimes it works great, and then sometimes it doesn't work. But once you're not panicking and you know what you're doing, that's great. I'm not panicking. This is a story that's been in my head for years, so I'm not really panicking. And as a former pantser, if I don't have a completed outline, I'll be okay, because I have the bulk of it, because I've already actually outlined the story for the most part. I was just revamping it. Okay, cool. Um, when you think about being authentic and doing your own thing, um, and then you think, okay, well, I'm at this good place. I'm doing pretty well. My pages are pretty much my own. But you see somebody else trying something, and then you want to try it. Yes, finding your own voice, your own vision. Um, I realized when I was looking back at some of what I used to do in my pages, um, those were that was in the very beginning when I very first was in the Fobonichi group and very first doing my pages. There were prompts, and um, I would find pictures of things, and then I would look at it, and then I would draw like my own thing, of it, like find different pictures or different clip arts or whatever. Um, and when I look back on all those pages and I look back at some of the art, I've really improved. And then sometimes I saw where it was very much more true to what I had an idea of what my journals would look like than where my journals have been on and off over the past couple of years. Like I've noticed I've gotten away from my own thing, and trying other things. And then and other times I've gotten so far into doing my own thing, doing little things that I haven't tried enough new things. And finding that balance is often hard. It's really hard to, I think sometimes we're not quite sure. And excuse me, there's a difference between emulating and outright copying. Um, Emulating, especially if you love somebody's style and you want to emulate it to learn, and then to change organically as you go to be more your own style, just to learn something. It's quite different, if that makes sense. I hope I'm making sense. um, but I'm excited because I think taking a really long, hard look at some of my old journal pages and what I've been doing lately, I'm finally, I think, finding my way towards my own groove with it. Sometimes I find I don't use my own imagination yeah, you're just copying. Yeah. Um, I used to really love to do a bunch of little doodles of pieces of my day and then write. And then there were days when I would use everyday ephemera if something came in. And then there were days when, and I still do a lot of this, where on the right hand side of the page, will draw a bigger picture. And sometimes I leave that bigger picture alone and I don't write anything on that page. And then other days I write around it. I've been trying to improve my handwriting and trying to improve my art, trying to improve how I draw and my watercolor skills. And composition is probably one of my biggest downfalls. I'm not, for whatever reason, some days I get composition really well and I do it and it looks great. And then other days, not so much. And I think the days when I don't do it very well, it's when I get so excited, I'm not thinking about where I put anything on the page and just putting things on the page. And because I'm feeling like super creative and but when I'm done, sometimes the page looks great and sometimes it doesn't. But the process of it was a lot of fun, not worrying about how anything looked and not worrying about the outcome of it and just enjoying myself. And I used to really beat myself up over the days when I did that and then the page didn't look good. But now I don't beat myself up over that anymore. I'm like, oh, well, I learned from that. It doesn't look great, but I have a lot of fun doing it. So maybe the next time I do it, it'll turn out better and it'll look better. But it was fun creating it. And I think there were different points where I kind of got so wrapped up in maybe how the overall picture would look when I was done with it, that I wasn't enjoying the process of it. So I had to go, okay, well, what am I doing here? Do I want to enjoy the process of it and not worry about how it looks so that I can get better with the process and just have fun? And the more that I do it, the better I'll get anyway. You're making total sense. I agree. I think we caught up in too much inspiration trying what other people do rather than just letting it pages. Buffet, taking a little bit here and there, keeping the bulk of the meal thing, you like love. Yes, exactly, Leanne. And that's, Amber, you're right. That is the way that kids approach it. And if you notice when a kid, and watching Victor, when a kid draws something, if you tell a kid to draw a tree, they draw their imagination. They draw from their imagination. That tree may be blue. When they're really little kids, that tree may be blue, but it's the best tree they've ever drawn. They're really proud of that tree. They don't see anything wrong with that tree. It's adults who go, no, the tree is green and brown. Well, not all trees are actually green and brown, and it really depends on the weather. And if you're looking up at a tree and there are no leaves on the tree, then you're going to see that gray or the brown or the whatever shade of bark and stuff is on that tree. But what you're going to see coming through all of those empty branches and limbs and stuff is all the blue from the sky. So who are we to say that that tree's not blue? Because maybe to that child, that tree does look blue. But I think we lose some of our imagination and some of our creativity as adults because we're so wrapped up in what things should be or how things should look or what somebody else is doing that maybe we feel like looks better than ours. And maybe if we could do it that way, then we could get better and ours would be better. Well, everybody's thing is different. I've been trying to learn, and I've realized that some of the advice that people give on how to is quite different, depending on what you're watching. Some people are like, do it more intuitively. And then some people are doing it, well, no, you have to do this technique. You can't, and so some of it contradicts each other. Not the core things, you don't want to use this product if you're, I'm in the process of finishing up an edit for a DIY masking fluid resist alternatives video part 1 for Patreon. Once I get all this together and I figure it all out, then I'm going to do a video for YouTube. But I got to figure it all out first. So I've been trying to practice different things. I read a bunch of different blog posts and watched a couple of different videos for different things about masking fluid, DIY masking fluid and things. And some people, there was actually quite a bit of information, but you had to really search for it. And then some of the information that I found was like, no, no, no. And then other was like, yes, yes, yes. And then there were people who were like, well, this will work or this will work. But if you do this, then be careful about doing this, and then some people were in complete disagreement. And I think that's with everything in life is that what works for some person doesn't work for another person. And what works for some people might be wonderful. And then one person can try and go, what? Oh, no, I don't like that. And it's okay because we can all like different things and we can all do different things. It's okay to do things differently. It's okay to try things at your own pace, to try things your own way, to do some things intuitively and not pay as much attention to the how-to technique and just do what feels right to you, if that's your thing. And not all people are like that. Some people are more, well, I need to learn the technical part and then I can be intuitive. I'm more of a be intuitive and then learn the technical part. And sometimes that can be a con because you learn things the wrong way instead of the right way. But at least I'm learning. And if I learn something wrong, then I'm like, oh, well, no wonder that wasn't working because I wasn't doing it, the proper technique, or I was using the wrong kind of thing or whatever. I don't know. I think I found myself in this spot where maybe it was taking a hard look at what wasn't working with planning, what wasn't working with planning, made me take a long, hard look at what hasn't been working for other things too. Like Have I been so busy trying to do a bunch of different things, trying to try a bunch of different things, that I've kind of lost my way with my one real thing that I love and that works for me, and that's, the journal, or the writing, or whatever it is, because I have more than one creative outlet, and I go back and forth between the two. Um, and that's what helps me stay creative. It's what helps me stay sane. Um, Being creative is my therapy. That's my medicine for anxiety and depression, is creativity. So I don't know. I feel like authenticity is in part, and I took notes from the one blog post, like there are some things they tell you in order to be authentic, that you shouldn't be rambling about your own personal agendas, that you actually don't want to keep changing your opinion. Well, your core value system doesn't change. That shouldn't change. But your opinion about certain things should be able to change, and you should be able to be honest about those changes, because what I like right now, um, I might find something different, or a different way to do it, and then find that I like the new, different way to do it better. Or I may try quite a few different things and then go, oh, well, these were cool to try, and I really learned a lot from it, but I like doing the old way better, so I'm going to go back to the old way. It's like me in an Omni journal. I go back and forth with an Omni journal, because it really depends on what I want and need in my life, not what everybody else is doing. You know, those are some of my most popular videos. The Omni journal videos are some of my most popular videos. Away from NaNoWriMo videos. NaNoWriMo videos and coffee chats are and the Omni Journal are my most popular videos. And if I did videos based on what was most popular, what would get the most views, I'd be already back in an Omni Journal. I have been easing back into one. But what I realized, and I'm going to test it out come July, for One Book July, I'm going to test things out. I'm going to try the Omni Journal for One Book July, and I guess we'll see. But I've been slowly but surely sort of some things integrating into one book, and then other things needing separate books, finding my way with all of it. Just because Omni Journal is one of the things I was known for doesn't mean that that's what I have to use all the time, just because that's what people, I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't want to do something strictly to film videos for it, strictly for views. I refuse to do that. I refuse to do videos only for views. I refuse. That does not feel authentic. If I talk about how I have been missing my Omni journal, or I talk about how I've slowly integrated a few more things into my regular journal, when for a while there I didn't want anything but the journaling and the art, my creative journal. I wanted it to be my creative journal, so I didn't want any planning in it whatsoever at all. I'd gotten completely away from Omni journal. Right, life changes and we adapt. Nothing. Yeah. And this is a whole other aspect of social media. We always seem to focus on how it affects our relationship with others. We also need to think about how it affects just us as an individual. Okay? Yes. No, nothing does stay the same. I love A5. I love the A5 size. Hello. I love the A5 size, journal size. I will always love the A5 journal size. But after my dad died, I needed to streamline for a good while. It's been rough going through the grieving process and things like that. That's okay, Susan. Don't worry about the keyboard. It's been rough. I'm still grieving. And every time I looked at the A5, every time I looked at the pages in the A5 journal, and I had a brand new Enigma, and I had that red cover, the red leather folio that I had gotten from Steve from Taroko Design, and I love it. I love it. But I felt overwhelmed. There was so much space, and I didn't know if I was going to be able to have so much creativity to fill out all that space. So going to B6 size for a good while has really been helpful because I don't have as much space. Now, it's not as great for planning because there's not as much space. but I just needed to kind of streamline things a little bit instead of having so much. It was too overwhelming to try to keep up with that kind of space. And if I was just going to use one page a day, then all I needed was the Hobonichi. I could have gotten away with not doing anything and anything else, doing all my planning and all my journaling and everything else strictly in a Hobonichi. Y'all, excuse me. I know this is a live video, but it's, life. We grow and change. We aren't the same people we were. No, we aren't. We do grow and change. One of the things that you can depend upon is that things are going to change. Every time I see Leanne do a video on her new junk journal, yes, I have my coffee. It's right here. Every time I see Leanne do a new video about one of the new junk journals she's created, I'm like, oh, they're gorgeous. And is it Wendy? It's Crafting Vicky or Crafty Vicky. She makes them too, junk journals. And I love the way that their journals look. I love the journals. I love mixed media when other people are doing it. Mixed media like mixed media like when other people are doing acrylic and when other people are doing collage bits and when other people are doing certain things. I think it's beautiful and I love it. Me and mixed media are not have a love-hate relationship. I like gouache and I like watercolor and I like colored pencils and I like gluing stuff down, and I like the little words, and I like creating word poetry, and I like adding different collage bits from magazines and from everyday ephemera, and I like doing that kind of thing. But I don't like acrylic. I don't like acrylic. I don't like gesso. I like Mod Podge and that glue stuff. The whatever matte, is it matte medium? Whatever it is, the one that you can use as glue. It's supposed to be better than Mod Podge. But I don't like acrylic. I don't like it. I tried it, and somebody sent me a wonderful set of it, and I tried. I like mixed media as in different mediums. I love using different mediums, but I am not I'm not a I'm not a fan of acrylic. And for some of this mixed media stuff, people are using acrylic. I don't like the way gesso feels. I don't like the way that acrylic feels. I don't like that feeling. That's how you feel about drawing your day. Well, other people do it, but not so much when you do it. See, I think your day, I think documenting your day for me is it's as much memory keeping, and that what is it called that people are doing? They do the whole thing every day, and they have like the notebooks and they're documenting their day with the, what is it called, the something like project, something. I do that that's what I'm doing in my journal every day in different ways. I'm documenting my life sort of as a memory keeper. And some days I draw all of it. Some days I draw, other days, project life. Yes. Okay. So documenting my life. Now, this is not the best page because this piece right here is from the video that the picture's actually in the video. I just not finished editing. This was a mixed media paper that I did a trial basis on, where I actually used the DIY masking fluid that I made. And I was trying to create raindrops because this is what I made for the video. This, and then this was on a big piece of paper, what I made for Patreon. Because rain, y'all. So when you're looking out the window, I use different techniques to do the raindrops. And this is documenting my day. Now, these pages are completely different. And if you go back further, some things I'm still working on. There went my bookmark. Like I haven't painted this. I made another Mrs. Tooth star because there's a piece of bone. It was coming through little tiny sliver of bone, and it hurt. And I was still in a lot of pain. So I created another Mrs. Tooth monster, only I did it different. Not finished. This was documenting my day. Some of the things I still need to watercolor. This is documenting my day. And they're all different. But to me, this would be mixed media because I have watercolored on this piece of glassine paper, drawn on it, watercolored on it, added bits of a paper of ephemera, did watercolor. I have, I don't know that I'm finished with it yet. I'm still working out what I want to do on that page. But I've documented my day. And I will, you know, so it could be, what is mixed media? When you say mixed media, people automatically think art journal, mixed media journal page. And that's what they see when they, in their heads, that's what they see. But mixed media is actually any time you mix different mediums of, you know, right, that is still mixed media. And I'm cool with, now this is not mixed media really. All of this is ink, a little tiny bit of washi tape, and some drawing. And these are, we had morning coffee, well, midday coffee, and then we had evening coffee. This one was decaffeinated. So this is my day in a nutshell. And I did this because they, although the cups look a little bit different, I did this, I wanted to kind of do a more, you know, trying to get better about drawing my cups. So, you know, this is definitely mixed media. I tried Artesa's watercolor that they sent me. And the reason you don't have the video yet is because I'm debating about whether I want to do it or not. Because I won't give a not honest review. Hi, Nancy. So I had glassine paper, and I drew and watercolored this on it, which actually is a reproduction. I redid something I did in a watercolor sketchbook, and I redid it. And when I redid it, I did it on this page, and I journaled over it. I glued this on to the page with Mod Podge. And then this is glassine where I did a coffee cup, and it went over this. And I journaled over the swatch I did with the watercolor. I got sent watercolor tubes from Artesa to review. I don't know how positive I can be, Leanne, other than to say the colors are gorgeous. It's a half and half because some of the colors are good. Some of the colors work really well and you can write over them. But some of the colors, you can't write over them, not even with a Sharpie fine point, which you can pretty much write on top of anything with. I tried writing over it with my fountain pen. I tried writing it over with a Micron. I tried writing over it with a Faber-Castell. Yeah, and some of them are chalky, and then some of them are, it's like weird feeling. Not chalky, but weird feeling, and you can't write over it. And I use watercolor to journal with. I mean, I am learning watercolor to draw, and I eventually, watercolor on a canvas, I don't know, but I want to get to a point where eventually I can do the little foodie pictures and the little, like a traveler's notebook and coffee mugs and different things, and eventually maybe I can sell printables. And maybe eventually I could sell some of my own work on, like, say, postcards or something, maybe even a canvas. I don't know about the canvases, watercolor paper, and so, like, you know, index size, postcard size pictures for people who like want them framed or whatever, like of different things, you know. But I want to get good enough where that every time I draw a coffee mug, it looks pretty good. Not where some days it looks good and other days not so much. You know, other days it looks more cartoony. You know, I showed Mr. Rockstar something in my journal, and he was like, well, baby, that looks really good, but it looks kind of cartoony. Let's see if it's, I think it's in this one. Here we go. And I think it's because I needed to go up a little higher right here. I thought this was actually one of the best coffee mugs that I've done, other than the one that I did of my china. But Mr. Rockstar said, well, baby, it looks a little, and it looks illustrated. It's the word. He used cartoony, but it actually looks illustrated. But I can tell I'm getting better. I can tell I'm getting a lot better because this looks a lot better. And see, this is Daniel Smith watercolor. And I can feel different, like right here, the color I used right here is one of those ones that has the granulations in it. And it has a texture to it because it's granulated, so it has little pieces of minerals in it. Thanks. Okay, you were wondering if they're marketing as professional. The colors are gorgeous. The colors are beautiful. Their colors are pretty cool. Let me get back to here because I did it on different kinds of paper, the Arteza, and I did it. Okay, here's the Arteza colors. See the colors? The colors are gorgeous. They look good, don't they? This is the Strathmore mixed media paper. And the colors are really pretty. I also did them on Tomaway River paper, which is what you see in this journal page back here. This was Tomaway River paper that I did them on. And if you pay attention, if you really look, I had to really like take a pen and go over to try to get it to go over some of the colors, because it wasn't the pen. I went through like 4 different pens, and finally I went to the Sharpie permanent pen, not the permanent fine line, but the actual. These kind, to get the pens to on some of the colors, not all of the colors. So I don't know. I think what I might have to do is try to add to it, and I'll just do a time lapse with a voiceover for that video. And I'll do a journal page using some of the colors, and so I can give an honest review, because I really want to review them. I'm to the point where I'm just going to review them and not even worry about the affiliate link, because I just don't know. I don't know. The watercolors were not what I really wanted to try. I wanted to try the watercolor pens, like what you got. I wanted to try their watercolor pencils. Those were the things I actually wanted to try. And I told them that, but they ended up sending me the tubes of watercolor. They didn't even send me their paper. And what's a shame is that I actually use Arteza's water brushes. They're aqua brushes, you know, that you put water in and you paint with. I actually use those, and they're pretty decent. Those I actually will recommend. I bought them myself and use them. I like some of the other brands better. My favorite brand has been this really inexpensive set that I got on eBay, and they say Push, P-U-S-H, and that's what it says on them. And that's actually I like those better than the Pentel ones. But yeah, That's why I had a video. I could have put it up Sunday. You think that people would appreciate the honest review? I think they will too. I haven't went through and finished the email stuff that they sent me to do the affiliate link. I don't know that I want to bother with that, to tell you the truth, because I don't know that people will actually buy them after my review. To be honest, I wouldn't buy them. If they had, I wouldn't buy them. I may just leave an Amazon affiliate link for them. I know that's horrible. I feel like really bad because I just don't want, I don't want it to be like sponsored. I don't want to feel, you know, using Artesa's affiliate link makes me feel too. Um, so if I use, I don't know. I don't know. See, that's the whole thing with being authentic is I refuse. I haven't, that's the whole reason I haven't done the video is because if in my video, I say, would I purchase them? No, I wouldn't purchase the tubes of watercolor. I would, however, purchase their watercolor, their water brushes. I would. If they'd sent me the watercolor pencils to try, I think I probably would use those because watercolor pencils aren't as important when you're just adding kind of things. You know, I don't think that's, you can mention that in the video. Yeah, I don't know what Romney would do. That's what I said. I only will do, and I told the guy, Alec, or whatever his name was, that I would be more than happy to give an honest review. And that's exactly what I said. I would be more than happy to give an honest review. But I don't feel comfortable using Artesa's affiliate link because when people are done watching my video, I doubt very seriously if they're going to buy them. And like I said, I will recommend the Artesa water brushes, which is why I really wish they'd sent me something else that I could give a more positive review of, because they didn't send me the Artesa water brushes I have. I actually bought those myself from Amazon and tried them because Lindsay, the Frugal Crafter, did a review of them, and I think that was one of the videos where she purchased some stuff herself, or maybe I'm not quite sure. And I needed new water brushes, and so I tried them. Hey, so I'll do the video. I'll do the video. I guess maybe that video will go up Friday. And what I'll do is I'll record, I'll film doing a journal page with those paints. Maybe a mock journal page because I don't know that I want that watercolor in my journal. Again, I've already got it in there and it's hard to write on. But maybe I really need to show that in my journal. So I guess I'll just do a journal page and I'll get a bunch of different pens out and I will write over some of it and see, so I can really show how it works. Because at first when I did the swatch, I was really happy with the colors. But then when I went to write over the swatch in my journal on the Tomaway River paper, I was like, what in the hell? Because for me as a journaler, sometimes I write over watercolor and sometimes I don't. I need to be able to write over it though, if I want to write over it. So that's why I said I didn't know for sure that I would actually use it in my journal. And you could tell by my expression that it's not something I would buy. And that really disappointed me because I thought, well, you know, and now I'm thinking, I mean, if it was a good enough watercolor for me to, yeah, if you can't write over it, you probably wouldn't use. No, and see, I was thinking, well, because I know some people who are just now really starting to get into adding art to their journals. And I was thinking this would be a really good thing to try, do the review, and then send it to somebody who has no watercolors, But now I don't know that it's probably those are probably going to end up victors. I mean, unless I just use them for, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. That's why you don't have the review video, because once I realized that, and they smell like an art room, like tempera paint. They kind of, some of them, not all of them, some of them have a funny smell. I forgot the name of that kind of paint that they use when you're in school in art. And Bree is who told me, because the Gouache by Karen Diash smells just like an art room to me. To my daughter, it smells just like Prismacolor pencils. But to me, it smells like an art room. And I like that smell. Tempera paint is really cheap. Good idea giving it to Victor. Victor loves to paint. He loves to paint. So I guess what I'll do is next, when I go to Dollar Tree the next time, I'm gonna get one of those little, or Michael's with a coupon when I have some extra cash. I'm gonna get one of those egg things, and that'll be Victor's little palette. Or I'll just use an empty egg container that I buy from when I buy eggs from the grocery store, the little styrofoam ones. That I'll can make sure that Victor does that. Though I don't think they have any toxic pigment in it. They're definitely better than the Artist Loft. You know, the Artist Loft with all the really pretty colors, and then you put it on your page and they're super chalky like powder, and it comes off like makeup powder. Like you rub your hand across the page. Like if you use too much makeup and you rub your hand across your face and you have makeup on your hand, well, those Artist Loft ones, you rub your hand across and then you have the powder on your hand. These aren't chalky like that. If I could write over them every single color, they would be really good beginner watercolors. So I don't know. I've been hesitant because then I think, well, I've been using Daniel Smith and Schminke and Jane Davenport's paints, and those I like. I actually really like Jane Davenport's, which I've heard are comparable to the Primus. And I like Jane Davenport's paints. Not as much as the Daniel Smith and Schminke, but I like the Winsor Newton Cotman travel set. I like the student grade Winsor Newton. Are they as vibrant? No, but they work really well, and I really like them. I would highly recommend Winsor and Newton to anybody. The Cotman or the professional, the student grade or the artist grade, I would highly recommend, because those are really good watercolor. And some of the Arteza out of the tube are really good. Some of them are. Have you used those Dina Scribble sticks? No, I haven't. I don't even know what those are. And it's going to be a long time before I buy, quite a few months before I buy any new supplies. So I'm trying DIY things and trying things with what I have. And I'm going to be improving my stuff because I have to finish the dental work. You can see I'm kind of talking funny, how my mouth is funny because I'm missing a bunch of back teeth now on the bottom. And then I have to get new glasses. I'm thinking right over the Dina sticks because they are wax like a crayon. Yeah, that's the issue. But I don't know. Leanne might have an answer. Somebody else might have an answer. When you use like Prismacolor pencils or Derwent colored pencils or Faber-Castell colored pencils, the ones that do have the waxy background, there is a pen. I don't know if it's the Sharpie fine pen or these kind of Sharpies. I'm not sure, are the Faber-Castells or the Microns. I don't know. But there are some pens that you can use over when you use colored pencils because they're wax, or when you use over those. So I don't know. Jelly rolls will work. Yeah. Okay. I knew there was something that you could use over them. But that's part of the whole thing with being authentic, is that when I was reading the don'ts, but what people who are authentic don't do, the last one, that people don't keep changing their mind. No, they don't, about their core value system. But depending on what you're talking about, like, it could, I don't know. I think I've changed my mind several times over the years about Hobonichi. She said they weren't wax based on her demo, but she didn't write over it. I don't know anything about them. I'm sorry. Um, but you know, I used to um, feel like I would always want to journal in my Hobonichi. And then I started planning in one and fell in love with planning in one. Now I'm slowly but surely going back to, I think, using the front part of it for planning and the back part of it for journaling sometimes, or at least doing some journaling on it, like a little bit here or there. I don't know. As I go through this whole planning thing, when I finish that video, and all you really have to do, if you really want to change up your planning system, is create a video on YouTube about your planning system. Because the moment you get that video up and you get it out there, then sometimes within 24 hours, sometimes a week later, you're going to, oh, maybe I should change that. Um, but I don't know. I haven't actually, um, I'm still working all the kinks out with some things. I really like having a bullet journal separated into inserts for now. Um, really do like having it separated into inserts, because when I was doing a regular bullet journal, I found that I didn't like having to move my collections. I didn't like having to move my collections. So having it's separate inserts, having collections and an actual inserts is cool. So I don't know. I've been on here for an hour. Does anybody have any questions? Because this coffee chats went sideways. I definitely rambled. Definitely rambled. I know there's a little bit of a lag. So for those of you who don't know who Leanne is and haven't checked out her channel, Creatively Free to Be Me, and the 2 is a number. Y'all actually all you gotta do is type in Creatively Free to Be Me. She makes the most fabulous junk journals I've seen. I haven't tried one because that's not really. I like the paper in it. I want the paper in the journals to add as ephemera into my pages. That's what I want. But I want one of her journals. I'm eventually, when she's not so busy, get a custom made journal. But y'all should check out her channel. Omni journaling has made my creativity explode. You're addicted to it. Thank you. You're welcome. I'm going to go back to Omni journaling for One Book July. I'm actually going to figure out something where I just set up one. I don't know if I'm going to have one traveler's notebook or one notebook. What's your favorite coffee at the moment? Thanks for the shout out. You're welcome. What I think it's important people find different venues for creativity, and your videos are your creative bullet journal too. I love your creative bullet journal too, but I think it's important because what we can gain from one person is not necessarily the same thing all the time. Like, we can learn from others, and just because we do it a different way doesn't mean we haven't learned something from that person. And everybody shouldn't all do it the same way. Even how people omni-journal is different. If you look up in Omni-Journal Junkies in their group, there are a lot of people doing an omni-journal, and they're doing it all different kinds of ways. So it's wonderful. My favorite coffee at the moment is pretty much been on and off the same thing. Like, I like Starbucks espresso coffee, and believe it or not, I mix it. I'm from the United States. I mix that with regular coffee, like regular Starbucks coffee, or sometimes Folgers, because Folgers is classic, is what my husband drinks. And sometimes I'll mix it if I don't want it quite so strong. And then I use white chocolate mocha creamer, or if I run out, I make it myself from white chocolate syrup. Like, if I want like a little, I'll make the espresso in my espresso machine, and I'll have a smaller cup. So it's not as strong when I make it out of coffee because I mix espresso and coffee. So I also like this English, old country English cottage something. Um, I like 8 o'clock coffee. I like the Colombian roast. Um, I like the coffee that Maureen sent me. That was really good. Um, a bunch of different. Um, I like cold coffee in the summertime during the hot part of the day. Like in the morning, I like hot coffee, and then I'll cut the coffee pot off before it tastes old and let it cool, and then I'll make a cold coffee with it later in the day. I don't drink a whole pot of coffee, y'all. I'm a sipper. So when I have a cup of coffee, which is why having a coffee warmer is such a big deal for me, I actually sip my coffee. So it looks like I drink a lot more coffee than I do, but I'm a sipper. I don't, if I drink my coffee all at one time, like really fast, then I'm in desperate need of some coffee. I like the 8 o'clock brand. It's a really good store-bought brand. You're a potter. I drink probably during a whole day, I can drink a pot, but not like first thing in the morning. I usually drink about a half a pot in the morning. And then, especially in the summertime, I'll drink that whole pot because I'll make cold coffee out of half of it and I'll have hot coffee out of the other half. My husband can drink a whole pot. He drinks his coffee black, but he likes milder coffee than I do. I like stronger, richer coffee than he does. I like Javalia's coffee. They have a really good thing for me anyway. I like their darker roast, and then they have a cocoa one. And I like to mix the two of them, and then I just use regular half and half and stevia or Truvia in my coffee. When I use their cocoa brand one, their chocolate brand one, I like to mix it with their dark roast one. And I don't know the name to all of them. I know what they are when I see them. And I've tried different coffees. You drink yours black too. You're on a Green Mountain brand kick at the moment. I mix dark roast with a blueberry coffee. See, I like the flavored coffees mixed with like a regular coffee or a dark roast coffee. I don't like flavored coffee all by itself. Sometimes that's just a little too much for me. We have some vanilla coffee that was really good mixed with regular coffee, but I like blueberry. See, now I'm thinking, ooh, blueberry. Yeah, my husband, he every once in a blue moon, I can make him what I'll call a dessert coffee. And I'll put it like a tiny bit of flavored creamer, like the white chocolate, and put a tiny bit of whipped cream and a little tiny bit of chocolate syrup on it. But I don't put sugar at all in his. I just put the creamer. And that's a dessert coffee for him. To him, that's like eating a dessert. But because he drinks his regular coffee, he drinks black. So, yeah, I probably drink about a half a pot. Between in the morning when I get up and a couple of hours later, I'll drink about a half a pot. But I drink it, usually the rest of that pot I drink throughout the day, and then I alternate it with water or green tea, cold green tea with ginseng and honey. I don't drink soda at all anymore. I don't drink any pop or soda. People call it different things. So I don't drink any kind of soda anymore at all. No more Dr. Pepper. And you know what? I don't really miss it. I drink water or green tea and juice. I drink juice and milk. But in the evenings, like with dinner, I have sweet tea. Well, to me, sweet tea now is the green tea with honey and ginseng. Because I don't drink the only time I ever drink regular Southern style sweet tea now is when I go to my mom's. And that's because that's what they have, unless I bring my own green tea. But because of Mr. Rockstar and what he can and can't eat and drink and things like that, we cut out soda completely. And we cut out regular tea. Being from the South, there's nothing like a glass of cold sweet tea. You drink water, coffee, and wine. You're not a sweet fan. Thanks for you're welcome. That's okay. I like wine too. But yeah, I don't drink soda at all anymore. We've cut out a lot of different things. Like we don't eat fried foods every now and again. Like people keep sending me little messages that say McDonald's has a little Snoopy things. I don't go to McDonald's. I don't eat from McDonald's. Every once in a while, I might get a biscuit or a coffee from McDonald's, but I don't eat their food. I I like their breakfasts. So I every once in a blue moon, I'll get Victor a Happy Meal. But I don't really do fast food. So I don't know. Mr. Rockstar's like, well, maybe you could go to McDonald's and just buy the toy. And I'm thinking maybe I could just buy the toy. I don't know. I don't know. But I don't eat McDonald's, so I don't know. I guess maybe I might have to just go up there and see about getting the toy, the little Snoopy toy. But yeah, people have sent me messages and they're like, yeah, I've actually got somebody posted it on Facebook or whatever about a picture of McDonald's and they had the little Snoopy and the Happy Meals. And I don't want to go to McDonald's and buy a Happy Meal just to get a Snoopy because I'll have to wait until I have Victor on a day and see if they still have them. So, anybody got any other questions before I go? I've been on here for an hour and 16 minutes, y'all. It goes by fast. It doesn't feel like I've been on here for an hour. But it's 5:30 here, so it's getting close to dinner time. So I'm starting to get hungry. Buy the meal to go take the Snoopy out and give away the meal. I don't know. I don't know about buying the meal. I'd be probably better off just buying the toy. But yeah, we don't eat fast food hardly ever. Like if we go out to dinner, not fancy out to dinner, but just casual out to dinner, we will go somewhere that does seafood. So whether we could get like grilled fish or grilled shrimp or, something like that, because that's one of the few things he can eat out. Or we could go somewhere, like if we were to go out, we could go somewhere maybe like Ruby Tuesdays, or there are a couple of other places because he can have pasta. Some things he can't eat and it doesn't bother him. But like I haven't had lasagna and our spaghetti regular in a while. So if I were to go out with somebody other than him, that's what I'd get. I'm not really supposed to have a lot of red sauce either, but it's okay. I do miss it. I'll just have to take some medicine because I have IBS, but I have really bad acid reflux. So I just have to make sure I take some medicine before I go because I have been really wanting some lasagna. Really wanting some lasagna. We're gonna have homemade what would be chicken white sauce lasagna tonight. We're gonna make that. I prepared the chicken last night, so all I have to do now is cut it up and make the noodles. But that's what we're gonna have for dinner tonight. This was fun. Have a good evening. Thank you. So unless any of you have any more questions, I've got a little bit less than 2 minutes left, and then I'm gonna get off of here because that will put me on for about an hour and 20 minutes. I have really appreciated y'all being here. You're coming over to my house? Yeah, well, see, we've been really wanting lasagna. Mr. Rockstar can't eat regular lasagna. And he said, well, baby, why don't we make it like you would make, instead of making red sauce lasagna, make more of like an Alfredo lasagna. So, like I said, I made the chicken last night and I seasoned the chicken with a little bit of rosemary. So we're going to try it. I'll take a picture. I'll post it on Patreon. Maybe I'll be good and I'll actually post it on Instagram because I don't post to Instagram nearly as much as I should. I'm bad about that. But I'll take a picture and I'll let y'all know how it goes because this will be my first attempt at trying to make that kind of lasagna. I've made homemade regular lasagna, but I've never made it with a white sauce. I've even made eggplant lasagna. So I'm excited. It's a whole new recipe. And there's something really nice to me. I guess it's the creativity, which is why I like DIY stuff so much, like creating a whole new recipe because I haven't looked up a recipe to make that kind of lasagna. I'm completely going with some of the things that I know about making lasagna in general, regular lasagna, and I'm just going to wing it. I'm going to do my own thing, and I'll let y'all know how it turns out. Because, you know, sometimes you just got to go with your gut and try something new. And I think that's the fun thing, is the going with your gut and trying something new. I was in a bit of a block creatively, a bit of a stalemate, kind of feeling with creativity, not trying anything really new right after my dad died. You had pumpkin lasagna a week ago. Oh, I bet that was yummy. Never heard of that. Um, and now I'm back to trying different recipes, trying different things with creativity, with art and journaling and stuff, which is why I did like the DIY masking fluid, trying to find. I'm going to do one other thing when I go to the store this weekend. I'm going to pick up a different brand of I'm going to actually pick up Elmer's cement, the Elmer's, what you call it, glue, and see if that works better than the one I have, because the one I had didn't work out as well as what I saw other people tried. So I'm going to keep doing things. I mean, and I will eventually next weekend or the weekend after, or maybe in a couple of weeks, once I keep trying some different things, actually get a bottle with a Michael's coupon of masking fluid and try real masking fluid and compare the DIY. Once I get the DIY one right, then I'll compare it to the real thing. But I think I'm back finally in a mind space of doing more DIYs and trying different things. You know, I feel really good that changing up my space in here, and I'm still trying to figure out how to kind of get my desk set with the monitor, because the webcam sits on my monitor, so that I have a pretty decent. I don't want that door always in my background. I don't mind anything else. I don't even mind the mess. It's the door being in my background I'm not real happy with. But I don't know. I'm still working on it. I really do like having the space done differently, though. I really do like having it's set up like this, having the smaller desk for the typewriter and the writing, because the laptop, the way that it sits, I can let it charge, and then I can take my laptop and go. And I can go anywhere else in the house, or I can go sit outside, or I can go to Starbucks or to the park or somewhere and go write for a little while. And I'm mobile. Whereas if I'm sitting at this tower at the desktop with that big tower, and I'm stuck here. I can't really go anywhere. And I don't always like writing. I spend so much time doing filming and editing and all of that, like all of this stuff at this desk, that I don't always want to be at this desk. This desk to me is a work desk. You know, I don't always want to be at the work desk. So I like having the space more, you know. And I have seriously debated on painting the craft table. Now I've rambled and I've talked past my 1 hour and 20 minutes. I'm at 23 minutes. So I'm going to go, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here and for joining me, and for your honest comments and your lovely words. I really appreciate it. I'm just at that space where, you know, you get to a place where you're going, okay, the line between emulating and copying sometimes is a fine line. And then the line of emulating to learn and actually doing your own thing. And I'm finding more and more that I like every now and again emulating, trying something new, and then changing it up to fit me. Mrs. Toothstar was definitely inspired by Courtney Diaz and her Little Monsters. Definitely inspired. Thanks, Leanne. So you see what I'm saying? But I took my own take on it. I did my own thing on it. But you can definitely tell when you look at it that if you have seen any of Courtney's work, any of her monsters, you can tell that that was inspired by her, that I actually have been watching her and seeing her stuff, you know? So I don't know. I'll let y'all go. Thanks. And I'm going to think about the Arteza, and I will get back. Yeah, I'll get back with the video. I'll do the video. I'll do the video. I don't know that I'll use RT's as affiliate link. Even if I could get a monetary thing, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. Bye, y'all. Thanks.